we're going to go ahead and start our first virtual book signing slash author talk. I got these shades on because it's kind of bright, so I'm not trying to be cool or anything. It actually serves a purpose. I'll probably going to take them off when it's time to start reading. But anyway, welcome to our first virtual book signing. I am your author and your host, whatever you want to call me, Kevin Barnett. And I hail from Delaware. I am from New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey, L-Town. That's where I'm from, and that's what I'm claiming. I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey. I never lived there though, but I was born there. So, this book signing and this author talk is about my two books that I published in the last 3 years. The first book being Live in My Shadows, Dreams Do Come True, which is my very first book that I published in 2017. And my second book, Shadows of Emotions, Life After the Dream, which was published earlier this year. I also have a podcast called Let's Talk About Adoption and Foster Care, and you can find the link in the comment area. And I also have a Twitter and an Instagram page, which talks about the podcast. It talks about different topics in reference to adoption and foster care. And I'm also on Podbean and Apple Podcasts. So, with all that being said, what we are trying to do here is get people to, read my story, and hopefully that story can resonate with foster care folks, children, or adoptees, adopted parents, or whatever. I talk about my experiences and stuff like that in the two books. During the podcast, I talk about my experiences. We also have guests and stuff on the podcast. All these different things that we're trying to use as means to educate people on adoption and foster care. We are taking out our lumps. It's a learning curve, but we're getting there. Each podcast gets better. Each book gets better. We get a little bit more comfortable with our guests and stuff like that. So, the main thing what we're trying to do is get the word out. We're just trying to get the word out so people can understand some of the issues that we go through. Publishing my book, as you can see, I had in the intro, come follow my journey through foster care. I was born in 1960, July 30th, and as soon as I was born, my mother gave me up to the system. And so my journey started day one when I was born. I been through a couple of foster care homes, and then wound up getting adopted by the Barnett family, which is the last name I carry. And they basically raised me all the way up until I left home, which was about the age of 19. I was born Kevin Hodge. Kevin Hodge was my birth name that I was born with. Knew nothing about the Hodge name or anything. So so that was the cards that was dealt to me 1960 all the way up until now, which I just turned 60 years old in the end of July. So that is the summary of my journey. What inspired me to write these books? Well, it was therapy. Um, Once I realized that, you know, I have to do something to keep my sanity, um, and I always wanted to write. You know, I don't think I have a gift or anything, but I have stories, and that story reference to my journey in this thing called life. Um, um, was something that I could talk about, something I had actually had experience in. So I went on ahead and started diving into it. Um, I left the house at age 19, had a couple of jobs, and I needed to join the military. The military basically gave me the confidence and the drive to succeed in a whole lot of areas in my life. So I take my hat off to the military. I only joined it thought I was going to join it for a couple of years, but I wound up making a career out of it, and it taught me a whole lot of things, made a man out of me. It did a lot for me. As you can see, I have one guy over here. Uh, he I was on a 12-mile march, they call it. Was helping a soldier that was going air assault. I've done this about 3 times. This particular time, I didn't make it. I was old. I was about, what, 40 something years old. Knees started giving up on me and stuff. But anyway, that was in Fort Lewis, Washington. This particular rock march, and this young man right here is when I was in Afghanistan from '05 to '06, and Kandahar. And so I did that in the military. Also was a drill sergeant, which was a fun job. And I was equal opportunity advisor, squad leader, platoon sergeant, non-commissioned officer in charge. I did a lot of things in the military that actually helped develop my personality and my confidence to basically do what I'm doing right now, is to be able to talk live with individuals that I don't know about, and to encourage people in reference to dealing with the cards that are dealt to them. So so that's what the military did for me. Then I wound up finding my my biological family. I wound up finding my biological family 2017, and that was the best thing that I thought at the particular time that would happen to me. And that really pushed me to write my book, in the process of me going through the things I went through, and ending with finding my family. And I thought that what there would be it, and completely. But it brought other situations, other emotions that I never dealt with before, and that prompted me to write the second book. So as you can see, sometimes we ask for things, and when we get them, sometimes they don't happen the way they want them to happen. Yeah. But getting back to the book signing portion of this, if you're interested in either book, I will sign it and I will send it to you. You can contact me through IM. You can contact me at my website, www.livingmyshadows.org, or my email, livingmyshadows@gmail.com. Gmail.com. You can do that. Or those that have my phone number, you can hit me up, and we can discuss payment options. Or you can order through my website, or you can go to Amazon. If you go to Amazon, the first book is going to cost a little bit, because that was my first book, and Amazon was involved, and I had a publisher and all that stuff. So you're going to pay a little bit more for that. But if you order through my website directly to me, one book will be $19.95, and The last book will be $14.95. I will be able to autograph books. My first book, if you order through me. My second book, if you order directly through me, i.e., Instant Messenger, Cash App, or anything like that, I can send you the book myself and sign it for you. But if you order any book from Amazon, I will not be able to sign it for you. So that's whatever you decide. You know, that's it. We're not trying to make a whole lot of money. We're just trying to do enough to basically reach our goal to the ultimate, and that's basically to get the word out, maybe donate a portion of the monies and stuff to organizations like foster care and adoption organizations, things like that, or even start up something where we can be able to advocate for more counseling and therapy and things of that sort for adoptees, and also classes and things for individuals that want to adopt or want to be a foster care parent. So so we've got a lot of things that we want to do, and so we got to start somewhere. So this is our way of starting, and so it is what it is. I don't know if anybody's on or not. I haven't seen anybody yet, so I'm going to keep on talking. And we're going to put this out. We're going to save it. Anyway, I usually, when I do this in person, I usually read a passage from my book and take on questions and things like that. This is where I'm going to have to take the shades off. It's really bright out here. Woo, it's bright. And we read something that, that we can talk about it. All right. Here we go. Chapter 5. The Fighter. Chapter 5, The Fighter. Live in my shadows. Dreams do come true. It says, I did have one hero during that time. It was the boxer, the heavyweight fighter, Muhammad Ali. He said, wow, why? Why Muhammad Ali? Well, Muhammad Ali back in the 60s, he decided that, he didn't want to go to war, basically. And he basically felt that, he could not find justice or anything, right there where he's at in the United States. Couldn't drink out of the same water fountains as Caucasians, and he couldn't go to certain restaurants and things like this. And now all of a sudden he wants, someone wants him to go fight a war to people that never done anything to him. So he didn't go. And for someone like that back in their day to do something like that, it took a stand. And I kind of like looked at him and said, wow, everybody else was kind of like running the other way and kind of like went with the status quo, but he kicked against a brick. So during the situation that I was in, being in a foster home where individuals basically abused me in so many different ways I cannot name, can't even keep up with, and I wanted to have that confidence and that attitude where I could stand up against my foster parents so the abuse can stop. And it took a while for that to happen. But so I followed Muhammad Ali with all his fights and things like that. And eventually I was able to stand up against my foster mom. And right after my foster dad had passed away, and she tried to carry on the abuse, and I got tired of it, and I finally had the confidence and the gump to go ahead and tell her, you will not ever hit me again. And she looked at me, I looked at her, I stayed under the table where she could not get to me, and I said, you better call DIFUS. DIFUS is social services. I don't know if they still call it DIFUS or not in New Jersey. But anyway, she did, and that's my way out of that particular home, and and I credit Muhammad Ali for instilling in me the confidence to do that. And so, foster kids, uh, I know sometimes the situation can be really bad, but you got to get that confidence in yourself to fight through it, no matter what it is. It might not be abuse, but it might be anything. It might be, people in school bullying you, or because you're not in your home, or someone's talking down to you, or whatever. You just got to find in yourself to get that confidence to, not let it bother you, and find a means to overcome that, whatever that might be. So that was me dealing with that particular situation. We'll read another verse someplace else. Let's see. I think these glasses off again. Yeah. All right. We're gonna go with this one, I think. No, we're gonna go with another one. All right. Chapter 10, same book, Leaving My Shadows Dream to Come True. I called from my house in Germany. As the phone rang, I started to get worried. What I'm talking about. Talking about when I started searching for my folks. I hired a private investigator in Germany when I was stationed in Germany. And he ran down some phone numbers and things like that, and told me that this one individual might be my mother. This was back in the 90s. And so it took me a lot of nerves to call this phone number, and I did. And I started to tell the individual on the other end that I did not call looking for any handouts or money or anything like that. I was just looking for my biological mother who gave me up, and I just wanted to find out a little about my medical history, and that was basically it. And I told her that I was in the military, and at that time I had 4 kids, yeah, and or 5 kids, and I was just trying to, at that particular time, just trying to get some type of piece of the puzzle solved. And she just breathed on the phone and calmly, in a calm voice, said, "I know who you are, but I'm not your mother." I said, "Uh-huh." And she said, "Good luck," and held the phone up. That was the most devastating feeling that I had at that particular time. Fast forward to 2017, when I met her, the voice on that phone sounded like the voice that I was talking to in person. And it's just something how your mind works, how it was able to click. But she of course denied it. Finding my biological parents was it was hard because I was looking for a long time, and then all of a sudden it just happened. I started playing around with Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, and some other applications that help you understand DNA and understand chromosomes and first cousins, second cousins, and different generational and twice removed, and all that stuff I was studying. When I got my results back, and I saw I had some third cousins and some fourth cousins that was related to me, and I had no idea who they were. Their last names was totally different than the Hodge name, and so I started just took a chance and started writing them, within the portal, and I got some feedback, and Jamie, Susan, Sandra, these are the first individuals that, as far as blood relationship, I started communicating with, and they started helping me understand the DNA process, and they started helping me put pieces together, and I started hitting everybody up. Some people responded and some people didn't. That's when I started finding out about, where my bloodline was coming from, and so, I found out West Indies was a big part of who I am, and next thing you know, somebody told me to start checking out some of these Facebook groups and DNA detectives, search angels, some of them, and I started putting my story out. And next thing you know, someone responded and said, "I think I know who your folks are," and state of New Jersey, or kind of like gave me some what they call non-identified information, and I put them two together and sent what I had, and bam, it happened. I'm looking at the house where my mother lived, and it found out that I had a sister. I knew I had two brothers, but I didn't know their names or anything like that, and Lord knows I didn't have anything about my sister. And bam, called them up, bam. That's a long story in itself, but next thing you know, I'm sitting across the table from my biological mother. I'm sitting next to my biological brother and my biological sister, all on my mother's side, and a host of cousins in Asbury, New Jersey. So for all them years, at that time I was 56 years old. 56 years old. And all that time, they was less than 45 minutes away from me. Life is something else. And then next thing you know, I found out who my biological father was. And then come to find out, I had some sisters on that side and a whole bunch of cousins. The last name not black. Seems like every place I go, there's a not black. And then I started finding out that I have family members, in London and it's amazing, Germany. And to this day, I talk to them. We FaceTime each other, we talk, and we still trying to figure out pieces of our family. And we developed a couple of Facebook pages, and we got about 300 on one side and about almost 400 on the other side. And we're helping other people to try to find out who their family members are. So it all started with a vision, and the vision is coming true. And that's what these books are about. Is just talking about, my vision and my struggle and my journey. And so if you're interested in learning that and want to listen to a story or read about a story or a journey that is real, it's not phony, because I opened up my heart to tell my story and try to be as true as I can. And so, that's it. So I'm going to read a passage from Shadows of Emotions, Life After the Dream. Now keep in mind, I done found where my father was buried at, where my paternal grandmother was buried at, my maternal grandmother was buried at. I done found, where I originated from. Well, where my grandfather was from, which is, he was born and raised in Aquila. I found out his journey. I was able to trace his journey from Aquila to St. Kitts, and then St. Kitts to New York, down to Asbury Park, And so I was able to trace all kinds of things on my paternal side. My grandmother from England to Jamaica for 12 years to Florida to Asbury Park. So I was able to find out a whole lot. So here we go. It's amazing that my mom's passing brought peace to all the turmoil I felt in my life for more than 50 years. I've been wanting and waiting for that moment of being reunited. I thought that, you know, that that my mother did what she needed to do at that particular time. Did I have a lot of hatred? Yes. But I forgave her. And before she passed away, she apologized twice. Once when I met her, and just before she closed her eyes. And I cherished them a little over 2 years with her that I had. And I always remember her. And I had to be appreciative of spending them 2 years with her, because I know there's a lot of individuals that are searching and haven't found their answers yet, or won't find answers. So I was fortunate, even though I had to wait, I was still fortunate. So I had to take that and deal with it. That was part of the emotions that I had to deal with. Finding peace out of turmoil is very hard. And I was able to do that, and at times, and not lying to you, but it's still at times, I get bitter, I get upset, I get mad, but I'm blessed. I get joyful at times when I look at my brothers and sisters, not just my brothers and sisters on my natural side, but even with my adopted family, my brothers and sister. I'm blessed. We're close. We're very, very close. And I'm blessed to have what they call the triad, the three parts of this adoption life. And I can't complain. But that does not subdue the anger or the restlessness of what's going on in the mind, because there's a brother that I will never meet. There's a father who I will never meet. So these different things still torment me, but through the help of God and my wife and family members, I try to overcome them. So those out there, adoptees, foster care kids, you can't get through this by yourself. You got to find some type of comfort in talking to someone, or some type of activity to get your mind off of things, or whatever to get you through. So so just remember, you can order these books from www.livingmyshadows.org. Hit the tab books, and you'll be able to order the books. One book will be shot to you from Amazon, which I won't be able to sign, and then the other book, which I can shoot you straight from here, and sign it for you and send it to you once you fill out the information. If you decide that you want to order straight from me via the internet, i.e. Gmail, IM, you can send me your information through, IM or Gmail, and I can get you the 2 books autographed to you. Okay. The books I'm selling here will be Shadow of Emotions is $14.95. Living My Shadows. If you order from me, it'll be $19.95. Yeah, and if you want to go straight to Amazon, you can do that, but you'll be paying more for the first book. Once again, please check out my podcast. Let's talk about adoption and foster care podcast. I am on Podbean. I'm on Apple Podcasts, and if you go up in the comment section, you'll see, or the heading, you'll see the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We just dropped episode 11, Tip of the Iceberg, with my man, Corey Quinn, out of Detroit. Hell of a story. We actually went overtime a little bit with his podcast because he had a lot to say, some interesting things to say. So check out that podcast. Not only check out that, check out the rest of them. A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we had someone from Great Britain, London rather, yeah, from Great Britain, London, and she had an interesting story. And then we had someone from California who is from Colombia, who was raised by a Swedish family that had some serious things that were very complicated for that young lady. Her name is Amanda. This Adopted Life is a blog that she runs, and she also runs a Zoom, I call it therapy session, amongst adoptees during Sunday. This Adopted Life, you can get it on IG, and she can shoot you an invitation to the meetings. But that's just 3 guests that we have. We have other guests lined up, and if you decide you want to be on the podcast, you're adoptee or foster care, you want to tell your story, just hit me up. Just go to you can go to livingmyshadows@gmail.com, or let's talk about adoption foster care @gmail.com, and we can set something up and talk to you and get your story out. So we're just gonna be on here a couple more minutes. We're gonna shoot this video out. Hopefully it'll save. This is the first time I actually did this on my business page, so hopefully it will be able to be saved and I can take it out and share it out. And we'll do another one. I'm sure people will be sending me some messages and things like that, and we'll try to answer them. But we're going to read one more passage, and we're going to come out of Shadows of Emotions and see how this is going to go here. Okay, even though this is accepting the questions without answers, even though the answers to some of my questions, accepting who I am, has remained a struggle at times, I still feel broken. Opening myself up to accepting the truth about my journey has helped me heal some of those broken parts of me. Well, I got answers to most of my questions, but I still struggle with some questions that I probably never get answered. And that's okay. That's okay not to have answers for some of the questions. But the journey in trying to get them answers sometimes can be therapy, or sometimes there's answers that you'll never get, and there's some questions that will never be answered, so you have to accept that to some degree. But in your time, not anybody else's time. People tell you have to accept it. You don't have to accept it until you're ready to accept it. That's the way I left my life. I accepted things when I was ready to accept it. One thing about adoptees, we're very strong minded people. We keep things to our heart. There's a whole lot of things that I have never told anybody. I just started letting the people know that my nickname was Skeeter. You know, there's only a few people that call me that. First time I heard my name called Skeeter was when I saw my foster brother that I grew up in the Crawford house with. When I went to go visit him, he called me Skeeter, and it just took me back to when I was a little kid. Nobody knew me by that name. I refer to my name as Skeeter, other known as Skeeter, on my podcast because it's, once again, I using that for some type of therapy. You know, when I was called Skeeter, there was a lot of things that happened during the time that I was known as Skeeter. But you know, that's just one thing that I had to deal with, and I use that as you know, ammunition to help me overcome a lot of different things. It's all right to be weak at times. I've learned that. I've learned it's all right to shed a tear at times, because these things can cause you, if you don't do it, they can cause you health issues. So I've learned how to deal with that. Everybody has a story, and it's up to you what to do with them stories. You can put it in a book. You can start a blog. You can talk about your story live. There's so many ways you can tell your story, and it feels so good to tell your story. You know, what do I got going on for the future? Got a lot of things. Hopefully, I can retire in 3 years. I'm working on my third book. It's nothing to do with adoption or foster care. It's dealing with some of the things that, you know, some of the fun things that I went through while I was in the military. The name of the book is Battle Buddies. We're currently working on that, and we hope to have it out next year. Hopefully all this pandemic and craziness will slow up soon. But the plan is to have that book out next. That's a fun book. So all those individuals that I was stationed with the first 9 years of my life in the military, please, I am me. Tell me a story. I will not use your name. No names will be used to protect the innocent. I know I'm not using my name. Hey, so I'm just going to talk about some serious stuff. I already got some stuff that people have sent me. Some things I already knew and some things I didn't. So it's going to be a fun book. Battle Buddies, out next year, hopefully. Knock on wood. My wife is working on the book. It's about individual women that have lost their mothers. She's working on that, and that should be coming out soon. What other things are going on? We're going to continue on with our podcast. I don't know how long we're going to do it, but we're going to do it as long as we can. We're going to start trying to do live, virtual type stuff a little bit more as we get more comfortable with the virtual way of doing things. What else? We're looking to go to Anguilla, where my grandfather was born. We have his birth certificate. And so now the next thing is we would have went there this year, but for obvious reasons we didn't make it. We had to get our refund and the whole 9 yards. But the young lady over there in Anguilla has saved a cottage for us, so we have a chance to go. Hopefully that'll be sometime in the spring of next year. And we're going to walk the grounds that my grandfather walked. Oh, one other thing too. We was able to trace our roots all the way back to Sierra Leone. We took African DNA tests, and yes, part of the Mindi tribe. And we've been in contact with some individuals there, just talking in general about, you know, Mindi traditions and things like that. And you know, they have parades. It's that come full circle. Unlike what people are saying that, you know, you're not going to be welcome. It's totally opposite. And we've been, you know, just talking about traditions and foods, and you're seeing people go over there and have a ball, you know. And so that's a long term goal is maybe after I retire, because if I'm going to Africa, I'm not going there for no 2 weeks. I'm gonna stay about 30, 40 days. That trip is a long trip. So, but we're gonna knock out Anguilla first. And hopefully, um, grandpa and great grandpa, maybe they might, had some land or something like that that we can uh, take hold of. That's the ultimate goal, what we're looking for, and maybe we can build something there, and help those out over there. We've done that in the past, so that's what we want to do. We actually want to be able to hit all the West Indies, because we have family pretty much from South America all the way up to Puerto Rico. We found that out, and yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing. So these are some of the things, and some of the things that are on my radar that I would like to do, and it is what it is. So we want to thank all those that listen, even though nobody didn't say anything. I don't know who's watching this or whatever, but we thank you. We're looking to hear from you. We've gotten some emails and things like that already, and it is what it is. So until next time, what we'll do next time, we'll actually put on the calendar. I caught myself trying to do the Beyonce thing, just drop a book sign and just a couple hours before, and just drop it. I'm gonna have to reevaluate that. But anyway, we're gonna do this again. We just want everyone to have a safe weekend. All y'all adoptees and foster care folks, stay strong, because we are strong. Stay tuned for the next podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to that channel. It's right up there. Be good. Peace.